Hey, what's good, y'all? This Kev here, aka Shank Entertainment. We back again here with another video on today. First and foremost, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you let me know where you are tuning in from, as well as, um, yeah, that's pretty much all I need to be honest. But without further ado, we got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. As y'all know, this is week 2 for the Colorado Buffaloes, as well as many other football programs in college as well. I'm ready for the season to start. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm definitely ready for the season to start finally and see what the Buffs is gonna do. Um, so in today's videos, we're gonna be talking about pretty much any standout players that I've noticed throughout this spring camp so far for the Buffs, as well as what it would take for the Buffs to not only win their conference but dominate their conference to get to that Big 12 championship. And then we can talk about what it would take to really in the talks for the playoffs. But I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm just going to talk about some things that I've noticed that they could either sharpen up or some things I feel like they improve overall. Um, so without further ado, let's get into it. So as y'all know, we got many transfers that just transferred into Colorado. Um, this portal. Um, it may not have been exactly what people have wanted per se, but in the same token, I kind of felt like they upgraded since the previous year, especially since 2023. 2023 was horrific. It was terrible. But if you don't know what transfers they brung in, but some people aren't as tuned in and tapped in as uh, some people would be. Obviously, they brought in Jaheim Otis, defensive line. They brought in Terrence Love, safety from Auburn, Sincere Brown, wide receiver from Campbell. He's going to be a dog. And then they brought in Simeon Pierce. So they just got another running back that's got added to that room. I was wondering if they was going to get another running back. Looks like they got another running back. I'm excited about that. He doesn't have a lot of production. Actually, before I even jump ahead of myself, let's talk about his production. Simeon Pierce. Isaiah Gustav left. So he finally committed to South Carolina Gamecocks. So if you're a Gamecocks fan, yeah, got a dog over there. Wish we could have kept him, but seems as though that money kind of took him a different route. Let's see what we got. So he's coming from Coastal Carolina. Simeon Pierce didn't have a lot of production, to be honest, that would kind of spark a lot of people's eyes. However, you never know how he could be developed. Now, this is going to be his last year in college football, so he got to, kind of come with a chip on his shoulder. So last season, he ran for 44 carries, 136 yards, 0 TDs, and he averaged 3.1 yards per carry. So not the best, not the most exciting. I know we all want 1,000-yard rushers, but this late in the portal, all the running backs, top tier running backs, they're all taken. They're all going already. So it's kind of hard. I don't know exactly why they brought him in. Like I'm looking at his stats and looking at him and his production over the years. So he started off at it's leaving my mind. He started off at Mississippi State, and then he hit the portal and transferred over to Coastal Carolina. Not the best there either. So I was just trying to just figure out why they picked him up in the first place. Like, there's so many other good running backs that we didn't even touch on. So pause. Know what I mean? But I was looking at his pass blocking grade, and I know it's heavy emphasis on that as well from the running backs. I'm not sure if some of the other running backs just wasn't making a cut as far as that, because that's a really important thing. So I would say they brought him in for that, and this is definitely one of Coach Marshall Falk's boys that he brought in. So they might see something we don't see in him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to jump the gun and say he's going to be a dog or say he's going to be terrible, because you never know how he could be developed. especially with this new updated coaching staff and bringing in Marshall Falk. I don't know how that's going to look. I'm going to assume positive intent, but however, I do know that we need to be efficient in running the ball this season. We got to be efficient in running the ball. That's how we're going to win these games, and that's how we're going to dominate. Last season, we didn't run the ball at all. So that's why a lot of running backs probably didn't come this way, because the past 2 seasons, 3 seasons, we didn't really do what we said we was going to do as far as running the ball. So there's definitely some room for improvement there, as well as the offensive line, which we're about to get into in a second as well. But just to continue my list, so Simeon Pierce, who I just went over, Hakeem Williams, I really like him so far. I'll get into him later. Gabriel Lightfoot, Luke Whitting, Zy Chrysler, Teion Parks, DeKalin Taylor. He's the other running back. Reginald Hughes, Damon Greaves, Noah King, Caden Salter. As you know, Caden Salter's competing for that QB1 spot, him and Juju Lewis. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But if I had to view and predict, y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comment section as well. But I honestly think that it's going to be a – how can I put it? I feel like both of the players are going to see the field for sure. However, I feel like Caden Salter might start off the season just because even though Juju Lewis, he's ahead of kids his age as far as development, I still feel like they want him to sit and learn a little bit more, to sharpen his skills. They always got room to grow. So I feel like they're going to start Caden Salter off first, and then they're going to transition into Juju maybe. Or you might see like a duo type of thing. A lot of rotations. I like what they did, too, in the portal because it's a lot of rotating spots. So you got the defensive line. Half of them are going to play. You're going to see a rotation. Same thing with the running backs because of the different styles that they have. Got that 1-2 punch. You got that the speed back. You got different backs like that. And even at the wide receiver position, they're so stacked at the wide receiver position, it's not even funny. But I feel like they're going to start off with Caden Salter, and then they're going to probably transition to Juju Lewis. I know this is Caden Salter's last season, and I know he wouldn't come here just to waste no time. I do know that. However, when you got competition like that, you're going to have to be consistent, especially as a leader, as a veteran too. I'm not going to go over any more transfers that came in. It was a total of 35. Don't quote me on that, but I have listed here 35. Some of them are depth pieces to this program, and some of them are actually going to contribute day one to get into that rotation as well. A lot of these dudes do have multiple years, so these aren't dudes that's just coming in with 1 year left. These are like 2 to 3 year type of dudes, so which is good. They can kind of build that team chemistry, build that program up. A lot of players didn't really necessarily hit the portal last season, which was good. And when I say that, factors per se, obviously the Tajay McCoys, Isaiah Augustus, and Nakai Hill Green, that was hurt pieces. But, however, overall, I feel like we kept and maintained who we were supposed to as far as the one who still had eligibility. So we shall see. But let's talk about what they need to actually win and dominate the conference. And what I mean by dominate, I'm not talking about winning basically all their games and losing 2. I mean going undefeated, possibly losing 1, maybe at most. But I'm talking about actually dominating. And I ain't talking about close scoring games. So some things I have listed here is quarterback play consistency. So develop clarity at the quarterback position between Caden Salter and Juju Lewis. Salter's experience is, offers a lot of sustainability. He's a veteran, like I said before. But Lewis brings upside as well and confidence. So, I already said and touched base on that. He's much, much developed than what kids his age group would you typically be. It's about just bringing all the pieces together. Him learning the playbook, learning the different schemes. Everything's not going to be the same like how it was last season. We can all agree that the scheme of things were kind of built around Travis and Shedeur more so now. Now nobody's spot is guaranteed at all. We don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback to the who's going to be the starting offensive line. We have predictions, but you never know how some players could be developed this season with these, changes to the coaching staff and just wanting more. Especially with some of these dudes being in their last season, there's going to be some competition in the ring. We got to protect the QB. You know, not only do we have to run the ball effectively, we got to protect the quarterback. Shedeur, he wasn't the fastest dude, but he had a little bit of finesse to him. You know what I mean? So, like, he can roll out, move around in the pocket the right way. And this season, we got to be able to give our quarterback a little bit of time because of the different type of quarterback that we have. Yes, he can run. Yes, he's a screamer. Both of the quarterbacks can run. Juju Lewis and Caden Salter, both of them can throw the ball as well. However, we don't want to put our quarterbacks in a position to the point where they are running for their life every single play. The receivers need to get open and the line need to hold their blocks. Simple as that. I mean, and that's why I feel like they invested so much time and money into bringing in a bunch of offensive line. That way, you not only have quote unquote top notch offensive line players, but you have some depth in that room. That way, this offensive line could be starting this week. Okay, now they got that chip on their shoulder. How can I push my teammates now so I can get in that starting lineup? Iron sharpens iron, and that's what I feel like they're trying to do within this program. Last year's key 52 sacks allowed must drop drastically by building on a portal additions of Larry Johnson III and Zy Chrysler. I like them both, as well as Xavier Hill. They're in my forefront on the offensive line. Obviously, Jordan Seaton, that you see here on his thumbnail, he's already a given. But I really like Larry Johnson. I like Xavier Hill, and for daggone sure like Zy Chrysler as well. I really like Zy Chrysler. I like how much more vocal the team is now. We need more leaders. We need more leaders on the team. Looking at players like Shedeur and Travis and Shiloh. Shedeur was a leader in his own way. Travis was a leader in his own way. He wasn't that loud and obnoxious, type of leader. But this season we got Tawfiq, we got Jordan Seaton, who's been a little bit vocal, and some, a couple other veterans and players as well. Terry and Carter, he's back from that injury. He's coming back with a chip on his shoulder. I'm hearing that a lot of dudes are looking up to him as that mentor within the team. So I definitely want to see some more dudes step up, though, for sure, and take on that lead. You ain't got to be no senior, no junior, upperclassman to take the lead. You could be a freshman in the lead. It's about how you come in. But not saying that's not what's going on, but that'll definitely help create and build team chemistry. And then, as well as, I love that they're, they have their designated workout days where they come in scheduled. And then they also have some days where they do like little route running on their own, working out on their own. I'm loving that. It's building a team chemistry outside of practice. Allow them to perfect their crafts outside of practice. So next thing we need to learn how to do, I already touched on this a little bit before in the beginning of this video, is a stronger run game and the offensive line balance. Last season, rushing ranked dead last. Colorado Buffs was dead last within the conference, 65 yards per game. It really, really hurt them in crucial matchups. I would say a more balanced offensive line run pass threat. We need to be able to run block as well. So we look at dudes like Xavier Hill, and you look at dudes like Zy Chrysler and players like that. You're looking at their grades. Look at what they did at their former programs. Memphis and Illinois. They're really, really good at run blocking. Really, really good at run blocking. And they've been putting heavy emphasis on being able to run the ball at a high level this season. So um, I'm not going to go into that anymore. I think y'all get it. We got to be able to run the ball. We got to be able to get a quarterback some more time, hold our blocks, and that offensive line got to be some dogs, like dogs. They got to be aggressive. So, especially if you expect to get to the championship and then go to the playoffs, you got to be able to compete with the bigger dogs. Like this college football stuff really, really not sweet. Like these dudes playing to go to the league. So, and then Colorado already has a lot against them. They're already the underdogs. So, we like to be there though. Let's talk about the defense though. Defense needs to stay elite. Last season defense did really, really good. Shout out to Coach Hart. I know he's not a lot of people's favorite right now because of the linebacker room and how scarce it may seem to some people. But the defense needs to stay elite. Unfortunately, we lost Nakai Hill Green. He's at Alabama now. I didn't even know he had more years of eligibility when that information came out a while back. However, last season, Colorado led the Big 12 in sacks, 39. And so he had 39 sacks and tackles for loss and 99. I wrote that down in my notes weird. But retaining pressures and turnovers, especially with bringing in players like Jaheim Otis, Tavian Coleman, and other players like that. You got the return of Tall Feet, and you got the return of Amari McNeil and Terry. Like that defensive line gonna look good. And then don't count the freshmen out. The freshmen, they're gonna play. They're gonna play. They're gonna play for sure. And then I would say lastly is just really, really making sure that you have a balanced scheme. So, back to running the ball, got to be able to run the ball and got to be able to pass as well. Got to have that 1-2 punch. The thing that's really, really going to help us this season, though, is being able to have both of those quarterbacks and both of those quarterbacks able to be able, to run the ball and pass the ball at a high level. That's really, really is going to help them surpass some of these teams that they have in this season. Let me pull up something too. Let's pull up their schedule for y'all. All right, so the first game is Georgia Tech. Definitely is going to be a test for them this season. I'm loving that they playing Georgia Tech first. Georgia Tech is not sweet at all whatsoever. Really, really good program, and they're only getting better. So Georgia Tech is going to be a real determining factor of how this rest of the season may end up going. I'm excited for that game, though. I'm just ready for the season. And then they go and they have Delaware. Delaware comes to Colorado. Don't sleep on Delaware. I used to actually live in Delaware, so forgive me if you feel like I'm being a little bit biased. Delaware got some athletes for sure. They definitely got some athletes. Do I think that they're going to beat Colorado? No. No, I don't. It's not going to be an easy game though for them. So don't sleep on Delaware. I wouldn't really sleep on any opponent on their schedule this season. Last time we did that, we got humbled on numerous occasions. Like on numerous occasions. And then they have Houston. Houston is not a cakewalk either. Then they have Wyoming. I don't know too much about Wyoming, but that's probably the reason why I don't know too much about it. Probably might not be that good. I gotta do my research on them a little bit more. BYU, we gotta get back from last season. That game last season was terrible. I ain't gonna lie. I cut it off. I was excited. I'm like, Dad, this Shedeur and Travis last game. I know they about to go out with a bang. They skunked it up. TCU, they got TCU after BYU. I know TCU going to try to come back with that chip on their shoulder because that last game that they had, which was in 2023, when Shedeur first got there, we skunked them, and I know they're going to try to come back for that redemption for Colorado. Iowa, not a bad program. I don't think they're going to be as good as they was last year, but somebody not to sleep on. Utah, from what I'm hearing, Utah has got some dogs, and they're going to be in the talk to compete. I don't know what video I was watching, but they had Utah ranked above Colorado. Why? I don't know. We're about to figure that out soon. Uh, Arizona, we smoked them last season too. We smoked them last season. So I know they're gonna try to come back with something. However, I don't know if they had a lot of movement in the portal this year, and I know they lost some players as well, players like McMillan and things of that nature. So I don't see them being that good this season, but I don't want to underestimate any team this season at all. Do you have West Virginia? West Virginia is a good program. Uh, I was going to go to West Virginia myself at a point in time. Really, really good program. Wouldn't sleep with them as either. They have a lot of freak athletes um, that many people might not even know about. Arizona State, I really, really like their coach, Dillingham. Um, are they going to be as good as they were last season? I don't know yet because Cam Scatterboo isn't there anymore. It's going to be kind of hard to determine. I don't know who would step up and fill that role that Cam Scatterboo had last season. I love their quarterback, though. They have a good program. Their program is going in the right direction, but I don't know how they're going to be just yet. And then we got that redemption game as well. I love that we ended it off with this, with Kansas State. That was a really, really good game last season. We folded towards the end in case they ended up beating us. Dylan Edwards is over there, still rocking and rolling with Kansas State. So, if out of all the games, if we lost any game, I would say it's going to be a real, real challenge with Kansas State, and I would have to say Arizona State. So the last two games, and then also game number one actually with Georgia Tech. Those are going to be like their hardest games on their schedule. Like I said, I'm not going to sleep on the other team on there, but I'm just saying that's going to be the hardest teams on their schedule. Next thing the team has to do is just stay mentally tough. Mentally tough. So sometimes Colorado has a real bad tendency to sometimes they start off winning, they win the game, win the game, win the game, win the game, and the next thing you know, they get humbled mid-season or even in the beginning of the season. They get humbled. And those teams, like they're so, like they feeling themselves, like they smelling themselves, like they feel like they made it, they got it, and what happens is they lose focus. Um, Coach Andrew Swayze, I really, really like him. He's their head strength and conditioning coach. I really, really firmly believe that he's getting them right. Now, he was talking about music. A lot of programs when they're working out in the weight room, they have them bump music in the background. He really don't like that, to be honest. He don't mind it, but he don't like it. He said that he doesn't want certain things to be distractions to them. He don't want them to feel like they arrived yet or they're getting ahead of themselves because he made a very, very valid point. That's what happened to them within the past seasons. They got ahead of themselves. They got too comfortable and they lost momentum. And teams capitalize off of that. Teams capitalize off of that. So I need them to stay not only physically strong, but mentally strong as well. This conference is a notorious conference. Um, no easy opponents, to be honest, and they got to come with that chip on their shoulder. Like I already said before, a lot of people don't like Colorado. A lot of people don't like Deion Sanders at all. Like at all. They think the program is a joke. They think the program uh, doesn't know what they're doing as far as developing athletes. They swear the program is ghetto. A whole bunch of, they have so many odds against them. Even if Colorado was to dominate and go undefeated for a full season, people will still hate them. But it's cool. Continue to give them something to talk about. The right things to talk about. Um, Back to Coach Swayze though. I say I like what he's doing as far as developing them. Um, a lot of dudes are dropping weight. So you look at dudes like Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo lost a ton of weight. Jordan Seaton lost a ton of weight. Like these offensive linemen, they not big and fat and sloppy like at all. They're actually getting a little bit lean. They look like they're starting to look like NFL caliber type players and athletes. When you're that big and sloppy, you can't even move like how you really need to move. You sloppy, you easy to throw off your balance. Like you not, and then you also get hurt easy. You carrying all that unnecessary weight that you don't have to carry. But from what I've seen, from the development of their body transformations, I can I can already see the effect that Coach Swayze has brought to the program already. When he first came in, he said he wanted to get them faster, stronger, more lean. And I feel like this happened. It's only week 2. Like, this is only literally the week 2. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for the season. I'm excited for the season. Hey, inside the chat, let me know who y'all think will be the hardest competition for the Buffs this upcoming season. I'm curious of what y'all think. Inside the inside the chat. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Also, shout out to Well Off Media and Reach the People Media as well for the content and just continuously giving us behind the scene on what's going on. I would say watching the videos, I don't know what type of workout they was doing, and this is not to discredit any strength and conditioning coach that was there before or ever in the past, but I'm hearing dudes say this is the hardest workout they ever did. I'm hearing dudes say that was a hard workout, all that. You know, you get this sense of difference. Even with the team chemistry, like they're different. Like they're bonding a little bit more. We're starting to see a little bit more. We're not just seeing the typical Shiloh and Travis and Shedeur and Jimmy Horn and Wester. Like we're starting to see all the different players, how they're bonding, the chemistry of the team, the competition, and things of that nature. Um, I was listening to one of the videos, and the wide receiver Hakeem Williams that came from Florida State, he said out his mouth that when he was at Florida State, he said he wasn't working out this hard. He said when he first came to Colorado, like they already started off up here with their workouts. He said at Florida State, it's kind of like week 1, okay, we here. Week 2, we here. Week 3, we here. Week 4, we here. Like they're progressing as the week goes up. He said with Colorado, they already right here with it. And he said this is some of the hardest workouts he ever did. They didn't even bring um, the Marines and all them yet. They usually bring the Marine, the Air Force, and Navy SEALs in, and they work out with them for a whole week. They didn't even do that yet. They didn't even do that yet. But I love that they do that. They bring in different types of workouts into the program. That's creative. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. I'm probably not even in tune enough to even really peak, but I haven't really seen another program do that. Now they may have started just doing that, but I haven't actually seen them do it yet at other programs. But I really like that myself. Oh, there's one more thing. Knowing and understanding your assignment and your film as well. So that's a really, really big thing. Like I know from being in high school, the coach used to give us some plays. He used to have me looking crazy, but like, what? You want me to do what? And I know that in college the playbook is crazy. Like, I already know it's crazy. Now, um, I'm always encourage athletes that if you ever get the free time outside of film room time, study it yourself. Ask questions. There's a lot of dudes who be mute outside of those film studies, and they don't even know what they're doing. They get onto the field, run a play, and they look stupid because they don't know what's going on. So I say I like to say is to really, really maximize your opportunity while you are in college playing football. I said this last video. If I can go back in time and rewind time back, I would have did some things differently as far as how I would have developed myself. Whether that was in a weight room, whether that was in a film room, and they kind of have that opportunity now to do that because once this is over, it's over. Like you can't never go back to that. You can go play 37U if you want to, but you know, that's a 50-50, you know, depending upon how healthy you are. But really, really maximize your opportunity because you don't get that time back. And know your why. Why are you playing the game of football? Like, why are you an athlete in the first place? Like, what is your backstory as to why you want to even make it into the league? Are you just doing this for fun? Are you doing this to provide for your family? Are you doing this because this is always something that you wanted to do? Really, really maximize your opportunity because once it's over, it's over. Like you just won't get that back. And I wish I had that mindset at a young age to take initiative and have the discipline to be able to do that. But there's neither here or there. I don't live my life with regrets. Learn from it, move from it, keep it pushing, pass on the information of what I should have did, could have did, would have did, and hope that the next can take heed to my advice. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a good season though, fun season. Definitely rooting for these dudes. Definitely can't wait to see what programs such as uh, Delaware State and Norfolk State is going to do going into the next season. That's where Deshaun Jackson coaches at Delaware State and Michael Vick coaches at Norfolk State. Looking to see what they're going to do. So eventually here, if I'm able to get a little bit more insight on their program as a whole, I'll do some videos on them as well. Um, but football need area. This is like the dead moment between sports. Yeah, you got the NBA. The NBA not even really that exciting to me no more. Like, it's there. Like I like sports, so I watch it from time to time. But football is my go-to. College football is my go-to. College football is my go-to. But a couple more information. So Coach Shedeur Sanders, he's currently recovering still in Texas. For those of you who don't know, he was experiencing some health challenges. Unfortunately, a lot of people thought he was going to be out permanently as a coach. It's an unspecified medical issue, and he wasn't able to attend early summer camp. And he described himself as feeling well and excited to return to the program. So that's glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Praying for further speedy recovery to him. Me and wifey we call him Unc. That's our Unc. So we gotta make sure that we sending off prayers to him. That's our Unc. So shout out to you, Unc. I know you got Uncle Neely and all them. Shout out to Uncle Neely and them. But that's our Unc too. But however, team practices have continued as scheduled, and so far, as expected, as always, no player has missed any practices or class. I will say from what I have seen with my own two eyes that the recruiting staff and the other coaches as they're currently right now, they're on those kids right now, making sure they're not only athletes but they're students first. So that means attending the class as well. That's going to be a really really big thing as well because if you don't play, if you don't get the right grades you need, you're just not simply going to play. Simple as that. I mean, I don't really need to deep dive into that further. Um, but yeah, I think that's all I got for today. I meant to tell y'all. Oof, I forgot that in my notes. So some standout players that I have seen from Well Off Media. Jordan Seaton, like I said before, I like that he's how much developed he's. He looks tall feet. I like how much initiative he's taken. Um, Sincere Brown, I think he's looking pretty good so far. And now this is just shirts and shorts. So this is what I'm seeing now. I hope that can translate when the pads get on too as well. Um, but as of right now, what I can see right now as far as leadership and development and chemistry, those are like my front runners as of right now. But overall, they look better as a team. They look bigger. They look faster. They look stronger already. And Coach Swayze is loving the energy that they're bringing to the program already as a whole with these incoming transfers and recruits as well. So it's gonna be a fun season. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Shout out to Shedeur too. I see it's a lot of stuff going over there with him at Cleveland. There's a report that came out in regards to Shedeur. I believe it said after camp that both quarterbacks, him and Dylan Gabriel, are not going to be there. So either one of them was going to be traded somewhere else. I don't know how that's going to work. What I think should happen is I can. Y'all might disagree. If they was to trade Shedeur, let me think about this before I say this. Could y'all see him going to Indianapolis Colts as a quarterback over there? Could y'all see that being possible if he was to transfer? I'm gonna say transfer. I meant be traded. Could y'all see that? I'll let y'all answer that. But I'm looking at programs like the New York Giants. I seen a post that came out today. It said Jackson Dart's terrible OTAs left fans in disbelief about skipping Shedeur Sanders in the draft. I mean, that's what they get. I mean, I'm not a Giants fan by no means at all whatsoever. That's what they get. I mean, Jackson Dart way better than Shedeur. Y'all are crazy. Shedeur sucks. He's in a terrible program. All that type of stuff. As I said, they just be hating. Like misery loves company. The film was there. Literally, if you know football and you got two eyes that can see, like you can clearly see that what transpired during this past draft was diabolical. There ain't nobody else gonna sit here and tell me nothing different. Like if you know football, like if you really, really know football, play football, coach football, have two eyes that can see, you can clearly see that there was some shady stuff going on in that draft. But I already spoke on that before. Don't need to really elaborate on that even more. But uh, Jackson Dart ain't been doing that hot. Also, Shedeur has had the best stats so far in practice as far as completions out of all the quarterbacks. I believe it went him, and then it was Joe Flacco, and then it was Dylan Gabriel, then it was Pickett last. But are y'all really surprised to be like? Are y'all really surprised about that? Or y'all just hating? I I think some of y'all just hating, of course. Some of y'all football careers didn't work out, and now you're miserable. So, I ain't gonna start. I ain't gonna start. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for joining into this live. If you are new to my channel, please make sure it'll do me such a huge favor. Just hit that subscribe button for me and share it out to your friends and family as well. Um, and I usually go live on this platform as well as bring other people onto the platform as well, whether that's friends or family members, and we chop it up and talk about sports or just life, period, as well. So, like I said, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you would do so, please, and it really, really helped me out. And share this video and channel out to your friends and family. And if you need me to support anything for you, I don't mind doing so. It don't cost me anything to support anybody. Want to see everybody grow, everybody win, especially in this day and time. Everybody needs love and support overall. But that's all I got. Y'all have a blessed rest of y'all night. And I'll tap in with y'all probably tomorrow. Just stay tuned. You follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. You'll be notified when I usually go live. But have a blessed night.